So, Lawrence Okolie is back with a bang. He had a huge first round knockout win against Brzezinski. But how would he fare at heavyweight? It seems like his intention is to try and become a freeweight world champion and move up to heavyweight. He's always been a big guy. He's always looked pretty huge for the weight. So my first impression of Okolie was he's had a lot of criticism for being in boring fights. People call him a hugger, a clincher, and he probably lost a bit of status because against Bilham Smith, where he lost his cruiserweight title, he had 2 points deducted for holding, I believe, and was clinching quite a lot. And before this, in his last fight with Shane McGuigan, you could tell McGuigan was a bit frustrated with him against Cieslak. There was a lot of holding, and you could tell he was kind of losing some fans. Fans, they pay a lot of money. They don't want to see boring hugfests. But is there a good fighter in Okolie? Well, I believe there is. I went back to watch his first world title fight against Glowacki, and I was really impressed by Okolie. Look, he's big, he's long, and in the fight, he used that to his advantage. He had a really good jab, and I was impressed by his boxing IQ. He took maybe 3 or 4 rounds to try and figure out his opponent, and then he put it on Glowacki when the timing was right, and then he was patient when he needed to be, and, he got a really good finish in the end, and it was a really good display from Okolie. I mean, it wasn't like, an exciting 50-50 fight, both fighters get knocked, but you could tell he was in control of the fight. He looked really good in the fight, and I was very impressed by Okolie. It was a version of Okolie that we haven't seen for a while. As I said, he's got a bit of criticism, been in a few boring fights. I mean, he's still been winning until the Bilham Smith fight, but yeah, I was impressed to see that version of Okolie because we hadn't seen him for a while. I mean, it's worth noting that Okolie has always been huge for the weight. Like, he's 6'5". And I wonder if kind of his size is a reason for all this clinching. When you're having to cut off a lot of weight for a fight, it's a lot of impact on your body, right? Your body's tired. It doesn't feel quite right. It's like, oh, I don't normally walk around this way. Your body's having to adjust to a lot of things. So I wonder if that's the reason why he was clinching so much. He was just tired from, losing all the weight. His body had been through a lot. So I'm wondering if now he's heavier, we'll see a better version of Lawrence Okolie where he won't need to, clinch or hold as much. And look, he looked really good against Brzezinski. You can't criticize a guy much for, a first round knockout in a world title fight. It's difficult to know how good, Brzezinski was. I mean, he's probably not 5 stars on BoxRec, but a pretty good fighter, right? He had a bit of a slugfest with Babic. To Brzezinski's credit, he looked good, and Okolie looked good as well. It seems like this new heavyweight is suiting him better. He's got heavy hands, and Brzezinski had no chance. He put him down 3 times before he ended him. So let's ask the question: how would he do at heavyweight? Well, I think his physical attributes would serve him quite well at heavyweight. He's big, he's long, he's tall. I can kind of see him doing what Tyson Fury does when he tight fighters up and lean on them, just exhausting them. I think that would work quite well from a heavyweight because clearly he can put weight on and fight well at that weight. And as I said, he's got a good jab. He can keep people at range. He seems to know when to put it on people and when to kind of be patient. That's what we saw in his world title fight. So I'd be interested to see if he's still got that. And as I said, I do think a heavyweight would suit him better because he's naturally such a big guy. He's towered over all of his opponents so far. Even against Bilham Smith, who was bigger than most of his opponents, he was still fairly bigger than him. So who is there to fight at a heavyweight? Well, obviously you think if you're moving up in weight, you'd want to fight a gatekeeper. So, I think a Chisora fight for a first fight at heavyweight would suit him well. I think Chisora's fighting Joyce, isn't he? Dillian White comes to mind. I don't know, would Dillian White be a step too far? It's difficult to know, but it would sell fight. I think it would sell, right? Franklin, who AJ fought and White fought, that could be a good name for him. I think maybe like a Dubois, a Hergovich, would maybe be a step up too far for his first fight, but I think some of those names would suit him well at heavyweight. And look, there's definitely money to be made at heavyweight. I think it suits him. And now Saudi are involved. Come on, surely he wants some of that cash. And as much as Okolie gets a lot of criticism, I think you have to admire Okolie because he's had that rags to riches story. He used to work at McDonald's and now he's a 2-weight world champion. I'm assuming he's aiming to become a 3-weight world champion because, all boxers want to fight for titles, right? So let's see how he does at heavyweight. So let me know what you think in the comments. How much credit do you give Okolie for his win over Brzezinski? Do you think that there's an exciting fighter in there somewhere? Do you think he would do well at heavyweight? Who should he fight at heavyweight? Did he go back down to cruiserweight, try and avenge his loss to Bilham Smith? I think he did have a rematch clause with Bilham Smith, but I think Sky Sports said, look, no one wants to see it. I think personally he should go up to heavyweight. I think that's where the money is. I think that's what suits his body best. And there's some big names from up there. So I'm excited to see where Okolie goes next. And credit to Okolie, of course, for his win. I don't know if anyone else are like this, but like, it's gone to the point where like my life's got a bit boring, and like I woke up and the first thing on my mind was, oh my god, Okolie is fighting today. Like I've got to get a girlfriend or something, because how was that my first thought waking up? Like, oh, Lawrence Okolie is fighting today, but at least it was, you know, a good win for Okolie in the end, a good name for British boxing. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments down below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, goodbye.